it just will look more natural rather than. How does this sound? Everything okay? Ta-da! I didn't check myself.
You look pretty good.
Okay, yeah. I'm fine. Where, where do you want? Okay, you're fine there. Yeah, because it looks a little.
So shall we start?
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So the first question is like, what did you get? How did you get into a film like The Bombing? Because it's a Chinese film, but with a transnational crew.
Yeah, how that worked out is about 5 years ago, I was asked to be a presenter at the Chinese Film Festival.
Sorry, could we just stop?
Sure. Where do you want me to look here?
Yeah. So
Look into the camera.
yeah, looking at
Okay.
the camera.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So we just start again.
Okay, we'll start again.
Sorry.
We'll start again.
Yeah. So how did you get into a film like The Bombing, a Chinese film with a transnational crew?
Yeah, how it worked out is about 5 years ago, I was asked to be a presenter at the Chinese Film Festival in Los Angeles. And through a woman named Kimberly Cates and her company called Big Screen Entertainment. And she had a colleague from China, Jimmy Chang. And so I went to be a presenter. I met many people, and many of which wanted to see my studio at Technicolor on the Paramount lot in Hollywood. So about a few days later, I had a large group of filmmakers and executives from China visit me at my studio, similar to this, but probably a little bit bigger. And I played them a reel of Transformers, one of the most recent Transformer films that I mixed at Technicolor. And it was pretty impressive. I think they were very excited to hear and see a movie of that magnitude in the room that it was mixed. So at the time, that first person and first contact that I met was Shang Haiying. Shang Haiying, a director, was very excited about my work, and I think he was the one who introduced and spoke with Xiao about doing a movie together, and that's how it came to be.
Okay. So it is your first collaboration with a Chinese filmmaker?
Yes. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, I was really looking forward to it because, in Hollywood we do things a little different. I've been doing large sound films many years, the likes of Transformer films and Spider-Man movies, Armageddon and The Rock and Skyfall, another film of mine that I mixed. And so, we cinematically are used to doing big kind of blockbuster films. And I thought it would be very interesting to see how my craft and my artistry could work in a Chinese production. And this was our first opportunity to do that.
Yeah, so you mentioned like different kinds of experience that you have between like doing a Chinese film and the Hollywood blockbusters. So I think maybe Chongqing bombings, like to you, may sound like a little unfamiliar. So did you prepare the historical knowledge about this particular period?
I did go online and read about the bombing of Chongqing, and to me, one of the things that was profound was just how many women and children and the thousands and thousands of people that were murdered, that were killed in this horrible event. So other than that, it really was about looking at the movie and serving the Shao, and giving him something that is very believable. This is a devastating event in Chinese history. So I wanted to be authentic. I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to feel organic to the horrors of war, which I've had the privilege of doing war movies before, and they're very difficult because it's a balance between visceral chaos and pandemonium and total devastation to the heart and soul and the emotion of the loss of life, and so it's the balance of horrible to sweet, innocent lives that are lost, and so that was really my mental thought process to going into the movie, was wanting to get the war right, get the planes, the explosions, the guns, all of those things had to be authentic and real, but we also wanted to feel the horrors that the people and these women and children and what they went through.
Okay, I know that you are also the re-recording mixer for the film Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Which is also about one of the most important bombings which
Yes.
happened during the Second World War. And so you talk about the authenticity that you want to give to the audiences. So is there any similarities and differences between your two different projects? Like what authenticity mean for these two different projects?
Yeah, there were many similarities to Pearl Harbor and this film, just bearing the P-0 planes and fighting in the sky, lots of planes flying in, and that all of that movement was very similar to Pearl Harbor. Lots of bombs and explosions in Pearl Harbor as well as this movie. So similar in that, guns, bullets, impacts, planes, explosions. And, truth is, it was another similarity is that unlike the bombing, this movie, where innocent women and children, the attack on Pearl Harbor was really our military, was the victims. And there were innocent life loss on the island, but it really was targeted as our military attack. And whereas this is civilization, this is homes, this is people in their town where they're living. So that was definitely a bit different. But one of the things that was really similar, and it's one of the most devastating scenes, in this movie, where they're, and I think one of your questions speaks to that, is where they're trapped, and they seek protection, but now the bombs have, and they can't get out. They're trapped. Well, that was similar in Pearl Harbor, because our men and women were trapped in the boats that turned upside down, and they couldn't get out. And there were even sequences where the water was filling up and they were suffocating, and similar to the loss of air in where the in the little cave where they're trying to be protected, they're running out of air. They suffocate. So that was similar to both movies. But the real difference is women and children affected in this movie, and not so much in Pearl Harbor.
Although the film is called The Bombing, obviously its content is not only about the bombings, and it also contains a lot of portraits about ordinary people and what their everyday life looked like during
Yes.
those very cruel bombings. So how did you make choices to mix the sound of multiple layers? I mean, very loud, exciting, sounding battle scenes, but sometimes it's human voices, also the very subtle sound of the objects. So how do you make those choices? And
Well, it's every scene has kind of a focus that, you know, the big battle sequences are obvious with the planes and the explosions and the guns, and you know, and then there are times we want to be a little more stylistic rather than visceral reality. We lower sounds and put more reverb on them, especially when they're dying and in the barricade, where they're, you know, they're in the cave. I forget what we're actually calling where they're trapped, but you know, to be more ethereal, you know, and to use textures, the dirt coming down, all the little details, you know, screams that are echoed off against, so that they're bouncing off the cave inside, and you know, because it's a very sad, you know, emotional moment. You know, it's devastating that all of these people are not going to make it. You know, they're just not going to make it, and so, but we have many layers of tonal things. We have lots of textures. The sound design team is the same team that we work with on all of Michael Bay movies. And so we've been together a long time. We've done a lot of sound work together. And, you know, there's a lot of nuance to this big, epic movie that we've just worked on and just completed. The attention to detail is really critical. Little breaths that you can feel, you know, that, you know, and, you know, those things are all a part of the full soundscape of the bombing. It's not just planes, explosions. It's, like you said, it's the humanity. It's the people. It's your people that were devastated in this horrible event and this horrible attack. So I think we've done a beautiful job. It's kind of like a ballet. You know, you want to be loud and crazy, and then you want to feel the soul of the people. And I think that is the balance that we strike. And we don't want to obviously forget about the music. You know, the composer, and I don't have his name, I met him just the other night, very sweet man. I believe he's the dean of music at your university now. Very nice man, very talented man. And his music has heart. You know, his music has kind of, I told him the other night, we play our war and create the reality, but it's his music that creates the emotional soul of the film. And he's done a beautiful job, and it sounds, it's a wonderful sounding score that he wrote, so, and performed beautifully. So we have all of this amazing material, and what we pick and choose each and every moment in the movie is what, you know, I feel my team as well as myself, we've had the opportunity to do this a long time. I've been mixing feature films for over 35 years, and more than 200 films. So I've had a lot of practice. I've had a lot of practice, and but I just heard the movie just now. I'm so proud of the work everybody did, you know, on our team from Hollywood, as well as, you know, we had all of the dialogue editing was done by editors here. So in terms of two teams coming together, we had the dialogue team from Beijing, and Wuzhang. It did a beautiful job orchestrating and coordinating the team from here to give us the material that they had worked with, as well as the music score. And then our team built all of the sound effects, sound design, Foley, all of those things. And then I, as well as Gary Summers, put the show together and did the mix on the movie. So we couldn't be prouder of the way the movie came out. We're very excited for audiences to see this magnificent movie, and I congratulate our director, Xiao Feng, who did just an unbelievable job with a very heartbreaking subject matter. You know, it really was a challenge to do a movie of this magnitude, and his visual effects team, and his actors, everything that went into this movie is, you feel that people cared about being a part of this movie, and that is the same for myself and my team in Hollywood. We were very honored and privileged to be a part of the movie. Very grateful to Xiao for his support in having us be a part of the movie, because there was a time when he, as much as he wanted to come and work with me, he was told not to for the financial reasons. And he said, he kind of stuck to his guns and said, no, I'm going, and I want to work with him, and I want him and his team to do the sound. And I'm very, very touched by his commitment to wanting to do something very special. And it was an amazing opportunity for both our team in Hollywood to work together with the team in Beijing to create a very, very special movie.
Yeah, very glad to hear that you enjoyed this kind of collaboration here.
Yeah.
And that's our interview today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Did you run out of tape? Did I talk too long?
No. You just do it very...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You got what you needed. Did you need me to sign anything?